Welcome and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, karibu sana. My name is Liz, and if you're a returning subscriber, as always, thank you so much for always coming back to support this channel. So guys, today I want to give you a little backstory on our background and why we call ourselves the Letia Nomads. And just to give you a background about ourselves, my family, who we are, and all that juice. So this story dates back to when I finished high school. And if you're like me, growing up in Kenya, you know, when we finish high school, we have a period where we wait for our results, and then when our results are out, we, you know, do all these computer classes or driving, whatever. So anyway, so when I finished high school, my dad enrolled me to a college, an IT college, or computer college, let me call it. So, and I started going to town for my computer college and all of that. So while I was in the process of doing my computer packages, a cousin of mine who's in the UK, still in the UK, Peter, shout out to you, I love you. So Peter, he enrolled me to a uni here in the UK, or he made some applications for me for some unis in the UK. So I applied, got admitted. I think it was 3 of them: University of Greenwich, University of, gosh, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. Anyway, I got admitted into 3 unis. And so we started the process of application, started the process of all these enrollments and everything, and I was enrolled and I was ready to go to the UK. I was determined to study abroad. Like from when I was young, I was so determined to go abroad. So when the time for the visa came, or with the visa application came, I applied for the visa, waited for my 2 weeks, and guess what, guys? This UK embassy, walininyima visa. They denied me a visa. Oh my God. I have never cried the way I cried like for 3 months continuous. Yani nililia. I used to wake up, cry, go to uni or go to college, come back home, continue my cry. It was that bad. Yani it was bad. It hurt me. UK embassy, musikuange hivyo. Anyway, that went by like that. So I continued with my computer packages. My computer college was almost done, and then because I was still determined to study abroad, I was determined. I was sure I'm not going to study in Kenya. So what happened is, one day a friend of mine who was with me in that computer college, we used to finish around 1 o'clock, then go have lunch, and then everybody parts ways and we go home. So this day we finish our lesson. We're going now to have our lunch, chips and chicken kama kawaida, and then I see this banner near Hilton. It's written study in Malaysia, and the details of where to find those people were and where the fair was going to be. So I looked at that banner, read it, and I was like, you know what, Ida? Her name was Ida. I said, Ida, I'm going to this fair. You go for lunch. She's like, you want to go to Malaysia? I'm like, I am going to this fair, whether you like it or not. So anyway, I went to the fair. I listened to what they had to say. It was about studying in Malaysia, the different unis that are offering courses and whatever courses they were offering. And in my head, I was like, hey, this is it. So went home that evening. Now, I went and spoke to my mom first, told her, now mom, and I even brought flyers. Yani I was prepared, ready for a presentation. Yeah? Ndio hii, number 1, this page, they said, these are the courses. This is the fees. And by the way, I knew she was kind of going to incline to that Malaysia thing. Anyway, so I went home. I spoke to her. I told her this is what I saw in town. Went and listened to what they had to say, and these are the flyers they gave me. This is the course I want to go and study. It costs this much, and we are going to be staying in the school hostel, and this is the duration of the course. So she looked at it first, and then she was like, are you sure about this thing? Are you sure they're not scammers? I said, mom, we can always go. You listen to it yourself, and then you make a decision whether you think it's a scam or not. But personally, I think it's a good idea. So we went, and then now the reason why I say I knew she was going to be inclined to this is because the fee was so much cheaper. It was like 3/4 less of what I was going to pay in the UK. So she kind of was leaning towards it as well. So tukaenda. The next day we went to Hilton. She listened to the fare, and then there's a lady now who was or still takes people to Malaysia, and she has this company that takes people to Malaysia and other countries. And she is the one who talked to my mom. She said, I am not a scam. I am taking people, and Ikama is a scam in a month and a half. Come and collect your money. I am here. My office is here, and all of that. So my mom was happy. She was like, okay. She was happy to go on with the plan. So we went home, and then she had to pitch the idea to my dad. So she told him about it. Now my dad was like, this scamming. I am not about to be scammed of my money. But then she convinced him, and he was like, okay. So if mom has made that decision, and mom thinks that's the best idea, you know what? Go ahead with it. Kwani, let's just go ahead with it. So we started the process. And you know what? Believe you me, in a month and a half, guy, I was out of Kenya. I was out, me in Malaysia, perambulating the streets of Malaysia. Anyway, so got to Malaysia, did my this is the beginning of my nomadic journey. When I got out of Kenya at 18 years old to go and study in Malaysia, because I finished high school at 17. So at 18 years old, I was already out of the country. Me, an 18-year-old in Malaysia. Malaysia was fun, guy. It was so much fun. We had so much fun that of course we did study, and I finished my course. But Malaysia is fun. Malaysia was fun. If you studied with me in Malaysia, drop me a comment in the comment section. Tell me where you are, what you're doing. It would be nice to connect with you. So I finished my 3 years in Malaysia, went back home, and now I'm back home in Kenya. Got a job, a nice job, and my dad hooked me up with one of his friends that was working at iCraft near UN, or it's connected to the UN. So I was doing an IT job, a data entry job, data curating, and all of that. So I started working. And it was a good job. To be honest, that job was nice. So I was in that job for about a year and a half until I discovered IT is not my thing. IT kabisa is not my thing. I have to I tried, and the job was good. The job was well paying, but it was just not my thing. So now back to the drawing board. At that point, I had already rediscovered myself, and I knew I wanted to be in healthcare. But how I was going to get into healthcare, I didn't know at that point. So now what happened is, I saw a job in the newspaper the job was about admin. What was it? It was an administrative job. So I was going to be an office assistant, office administrator in Kenyatta National Hospital through a Japanese organization that was funding Kenyatta National Hospital. So the job was directly to this Japanese company, but working in Kenyatta National Hospital. So I told myself, you know what, just apply for the job, Kwani. You might as well slip from that company, get into Kenyatta National Hospital. And true to that, that is what happened. So I applied for this job, this administrative job, got it. And I started now working as an administrative assistant in this Japanese firm in Kenyatta National Hospital. So now, slowly, I started getting into healthcare, knowing about because I was working for or they were working with a national AIDS program. So I started learning about HIV and AIDS and all these HIV programs, and I was interested, and I slowly got absorbed into one of the programs, which was prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. And oh my God, I love that job. I loved going to the community. I loved talking about HIV because I got trained and I got on-job training as we went along. So I got on-job training, started working there as a program assistant, going to the communities, talking to women, providing kits for HIV and all of that, or HIV, HIV kits. So got into that and I started working now. But then the problem with that job was, it was a good job, but I couldn't get a promotion because I didn't have the certificates to show that I was a proper health worker. So now again, back to the drawing board. Now what do I do? So now I started researching about studying because I'm telling you, I'm originally a nomad, but I think I was born a nomad. Now I started researching again about how to study abroad, how to study nursing abroad for free. One day I was just in the office and I typed study abroad for free, and I got these options in Europe. Study in Finland was free. That was one of the options. I can't remember the others, but I was really interested in studying in Finland. The reason was because there's one of my mom's friend was married to a Finnish guy, and so I knew she was married in Finland, and so I was interested. I wanted to know, is it true that you can study in Finland at that time, that you could study for free in Finland? So what happened is I researched, got all the details, then I went home and I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, hey, do you need to make up your mind about what you want to do in life? We cannot be going back and forth about you wanting to do this, and then the next time you jump ship, you want to do something else. And I told my mom, I'm 100% sure I want to study nursing and I want to be in healthcare. And she had seen my passion in healthcare from working in this job that I was working in at that time. So she asked me, so how did you decide that you want to study nursing? So I told her I was in one of these meetings. We had gone to one of these normal HIV meetings, and in that meeting, it was just like a light bulb moment. I knew this is what I want to do. I wanted to study nursing, and it was so clear to me. I had no doubt in my head. So I told my mom what happened. I told her, I need this vision. It was like a vision. It was so clear to me. I knew it. This is what I want to do. So I told her about that, and I said, Mom, really trust me on this. I'm sure this is what I want to do now for the rest of my life. This is the career I've decided I want to choose. So she was like, okay, that's fine. Now, where are the funds going to come from? I told her, now I've been researching and I discovered that you can study for free in Finland. So what I needed you to do, or what I need you to do, is to speak to that friend of yours that is in Finland, ask her if it's really true you can study in Finland. And that's what she did. She spoke to her friend. Her friend confirmed, yeah, it's free. If you want to study in Finland, yeah, sure. You only need living costs. You only need money for living costs, accommodation, and that's it, and for insurance. So still as a student. And so my mom confirmed to me. She said, yeah. She said that you can study for free in Finland. So we need to look for money for insurance and accommodation and living costs. I told my mom, no problem. I got you. This job I was in, I had already found my ways and means of making money. And so I was getting paid not much, but I had also found other means of making money. Don't ask me how. So I knew I would find that money to fund my living costs for a year, accommodation and insurance. So she hooked me up with that lady that was in Finland. Told me, you speak to her, she will give you all the details of how to go about it. And that's what I did. Spoke to her, she told me, do this and this, 1, 2, 3. I applied and I got the ball rolling again. In April, I was enrolled to a college. In September of that year, I was out again. out in Finland by myself, not knowing where to start, not knowing the language, not knowing anybody apart from her. And she was living in a different city from where my school was going to be. So ideally, I was alone. So now I'm in a foreign country. I'm in Finland now. In September of that year, I'm new. I have no idea of where to start. I have no idea of this language that people are speaking, and I can't understand a word of it. So that's how I began my life in Finland. I got myself a hostel before I could secure proper accommodation, student accommodation. I got myself into a hostel, stayed there for about a month and something. And then after that month, I had already gotten a student accommodation. But it was so hard. Like, God, starting over is so hard, especially if you're starting out in a country that doesn't speak the language that you speak. In this case, I couldn't speak Finnish. And at that time, not many people could speak English in Finland at that time. So I was struggling. Oh my God, I struggled a lot. Just even going to the store to find milk, sugar, whatever, I couldn't tell. Is this sugar? Is this salt? Is this milk? Is this skimmed milk? It was just different brands of milk. I didn't know what to choose. So anyway, slowly by slowly, I gave myself some grace and I told myself, you will get this and you will get the hang of this. And yeah, that's what happened. In about a month, I already knew the basics of, the different foodstuffs that I could live with, or I could cook. Onions don't change, whatever. So those ones I could buy. But then when it came to milk and bread and all of this, because they have different kinds of bread, different kinds of milk, different kinds of everything. It's not like when in Kenya you go to the shop and say, give me milk. It's just milk. Or you go say bread, give me bread. You get bread. In Finland, it's like rye bread, oat bread, wheat bread, all sorts of bread. Milk, you've got skim milk, semi-skim milk, fat-free milk, 1% fat milk, whole milk, 50%. It was just too much. So when I went to the stores, I would take a friend of mine, a Finnish friend, and she would tell me, this is what it means, this is what it means, until I eventually started to learn the language. And that was the beginning of my life in Finland. Stayed in Finland for 12 good years. And Finland was amazing, amazing, amazing to me. It's a lovely country. It is cold, freaking cold, because you will freeze yourself off. So, but it's a beautiful country, beautiful, beautiful country. Fun fact, it is the happiest country in the world. So, yeah, was there for 12 years. I got married while I was still in Finland, got my 2 lovely kids in Finland, and until we decided, my husband and I decided that, let's try something else. And you know what? Being a nomad, let me tell you, being a nomad, it is hard to settle in one place. Why? I do not know, don't ask me. But the other thing is, my husband is from a nomadic community in Kenya. He is a Maasai. And if you know a little bit about Maasais are a nomadic community in Kenya. And, they move from place to place looking for pasture for their cattle. And for them, they're just nomadic in nature. So him too couldn't stay in one place. Now let me take you back. When I went back to Kenya, when I was after studying in Malaysia, went back to Kenya. That's when I met my husband, my now husband. That's when I met him. So we dated for 2 years, and then again, because he's nomadic in nature, he moved to Dubai for greener pastures, of course. And then I went to Finland to study. So we were 2 worlds apart, but we still continued long distance relationship until I graduated, finished, got a job. And then that is when he moved to Finland and came to Finland to live with me. And so that is how we moved to Finland, got our kids, got married, started a life in Finland. So now we're in Finland. He stayed in Finland with me for now at that time for 5 years. We stayed for 5 years, and then he decided, or we both decided, guy, our feet are aching. We need to move again. But anyway, for this time we decided, now let's be intentional about where we want to go, and we have to have our whys as to why we're moving from Finland, because as I mentioned, Finland is a good country. It's a beautiful country. Childcare, healthcare, education is just, everything is just top notch. I cannot fault it a single bit. But now we wanted to try out other things and try out something else in life. We just wanted a break from the harsh winters, and so our next best option was to move to the UK, where we are now. So we moved to the UK last year in 2024. We've been living in Worcester, which is a small town near Birmingham, and we love it. Our kids love it here. We love it here. We've got our jobs here. The kids are thriving in school, and yeah, that's our nomadic journey. I don't know if we're gonna stay in the UK or our feet are gonna ache again and we want to move again. But anyway, stay tuned. You never know. But that is our nomadic journey. That is why we call ourselves the Latia Nomads. And I hope you've enjoyed this story. I hope you have subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like, share, comment in the description box. In the comment section. Tell me what if you're a nomad, where you've been, where you live. I would like to interact with you guys. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.